Failure. The lie you were sold. That's still running your life. Harvard study reveals 89% of people are living someone else's definition of success, and it's destroying their potential. What if everything you were taught about failure is not only wrong, but a carefully orchestrated conspiracy? Millions live far beneath their potential, not because they're unqualified or unlucky, but because they've been programmed to fear the very thing that creates legends. We dress it up as being realistic, waiting for the right time, or doing more research. But let's rip off the mask. It's fear wrapped in a designer suit, and it's been robbing you blind. We're born fearless, so who broke us? You didn't come out of the womb scared of rejection. Someone taught you to be. Don't touch the stove. Stay away from big dogs. Play it safe. Sound familiar? Of course it does, because every single person reading this has been systematically conditioned to choose safety over success. But here's the reality. Those well-intentioned warnings didn't just keep you safe. They kept you small. But at what age did you start believing failure was a character flaw rather than a graduation ceremony? And what if your parents' biggest mistake wasn't failing to protect you, but protecting you from failure? Perfectionism is the society's most sophisticated prison system. Let's get brutally real. Schools don't reward innovation. They reward conformity. 1 C on your report card? Suddenly, you're a disappointment. 1 wrong answer? You're not smart enough. But here's the twisted irony. The education system that taught you to fear mistakes is run by people who've never built anything, sold anything, or risked anything. Think a moment. What's the ROI of never making a mistake? How much success are you trading for the illusion of safety? Straight-A students aren't the most successful adults because they often fail to learn how to fail forward and advance their dreams. The brutal cost of playing it safe is simple avoidance of the fear of embarrassment. Tom is a sales rookie. His first month, he made 10 calls, 0 deals. Why? He was too careful, researching every prospect to death like he was writing a doctoral thesis. Then his boss says, "Tom, go forward and do 20 calls a day. 15 minutes prep." No excuses. Tom panicked, fumbled. He was rejected so hard that he wanted to quit. But here's the kicker. Despite the rejections and fear of making the calls, he closed 3 deals, more than in his entire previous month of being careful. What if failure isn't the price of success, but the entrance fee? What if being terrible at something is the only way to become legendary? Maybe the reason you're not where you want to be isn't because you're not good enough. It's because you're not bad enough yet. Failure isn't the problem. Your relationship with it is the disease. Maybe you should fail more. Why? Because it proves you're attempting something worth doing. Fear of failure doesn't just rob you of action. It robs you of identity. It makes you micromanage instead of delegate, over-prepare and under-execute. Choose comfort over conquest. Become a spectator in your own life. Most people spend more time planning their vacation than planning their breakthrough. When was the last time you did something bold enough that failure was a real possibility? If you can't remember, you're already failing. The Failure Club has all the legendary personalities we look up to today in every discipline. Membership costs are consistent, and failure is a key part of the journey to greatness. Every person you admire is a professional failure who just didn't quit. Thomas Edison, 1,000 attempts before the light bulb. Imagine if he stopped at 999. Colonel Sanders, rejected 1,009 times before KFC took off. At age 62. Einstein, failed entrance exams, couldn't speak until 4, labeled mentally slow. Abe Lincoln, multiple election losses before becoming president. Walt Disney, fired for lacking imagination and having no good ideas. If failure means you're broken, how do you explain these people? What if successful people aren't successful despite their failures, but because of them? Salespeople are the most rejected people on earth, and the most rewarded. In sales, rejection isn't failure. It's market research. The more no's you collect, the closer you get to a yes. It's pure mathematics. Rejection is just the cover charge to the Millionaires Club. If you're not getting rejected, are you really selling or just playing office? What if your biggest competition isn't other salespeople, but your own fear of hearing no? 2. Psychological weapons that annihilate fear instantly. Weapon number 1, the 3-attempt rule. Before obsessing over any pitch, proposal, or project, draft 1, 30 mindyai. Get it out. Draft 2, 1 hour. Make it better. Final version, 1 hour. Polish and launch, then ship it. Action beats perfection every single time. Weapon number 2, track failure metrics. Set a weekly goal for how many no's you want to collect. Celebrate rejection like a trophy. Track your failure rate like a scoreboard. Want to know who closes the most deals? The person who got rejected the most without quitting. What if your problem isn't that you're failing too much, but that you're not failing fast enough? Your biggest failure isn't bombing a presentation, losing a deal, or getting rejected. Your biggest failure is living your whole life in fear of failing. Would you rather be temporarily embarrassed by a spectacular flop, or permanently haunted by a dream you never had the courage to pursue? Think. When you're 80 years old, what will hurt more? The risks you took that didn't work out, or the risks you never took at all? Share this with someone who needs to fail harder and faster. Comment below. What's the failure you're most afraid of? Let's crowdsource some courage.